Welcome back to Lifeguard Discipleship, where observational science is a Christian's best friend. And today we're going to be talking about fossils and the flood. So we're going to pause this video, go watch a short presentation, and then come back. But before we do, let's have a little exercise for your brain.
I don't care if you're not ready for your final exams. I want 10 cerebellum stretches now!
Let's say you're digging in your backyard and you find this. Observational science will tell you that it's dead, it's a fossil, and it's an unknown fish. What color was the fish before it died? Don't know. What did it eat when it was alive? Without further really convincing fossilized clues, don't know. Was it a smart fish or an average fish? Don't know. Did it die exactly where you dug it up? Or did it die somewhere else and was moved here by the forces of nature? Don't know. How old is the fossil? Since no fossil comes with a tag saying how old it is, don't know. And if you're jumping up and down saying radiometric dating, it sounds like you haven't watched our classroom review on the age of rocks. When we look at a fossil, observational science can only tell us that this was a living animal, it's dead, and it became a fossil. Without an eyewitness or a trustworthy document, anything else is just our imagination. We interrupt this program to make an important announcement. It does not take millions of years to make fossils or rocks. Stay tuned after the review questions for more details. The link for today's video is provided in the description box of this video. If there's a problem, you're looking for a video on YouTube entitled, "Check This Out, Fossils and the Flood." You should see a preview image that looks like the DVD cover on the right. If you lose your spot in my video, just fast forward until you see this image. Okay, since you're back, I'm assuming that you have watched the video, and now you are ready to move on to the discussion. Evidence from the past, such as fossils, do not provide a clear picture of what happened. Do you remember what is needed when using historical science? In order to know exactly what happened in the past, an eyewitness is needed, or we need an accurate and trustworthy document of the event. When an eyewitness or trustworthy documents are not available, what does a scientist use to fill in missing information when considering evidence left from the past? The worldview of the scientist will influence his or her decisions when considering evidence left from the past. A creationist has a worldview of there is a God, and an evolutionist has a worldview of there is no God. In your own words, briefly describe what each worldview thinks about a fossil. Since evolutionists have a worldview of there is no God, they have been taught that this animal died and was fossilized millions of years ago. A creationist has a worldview of there is a God. When they look at a fossil, they see evidence left from the past which is consistent with the record of the flood found in the book of Genesis. Okay, let's take a look at anomalous artifacts. These are out-of-place fossils. A scientist with a worldview of there is no God looks at the world through the theories of evolution. For example, they make statements that man has only existed in the last 200,000 years, and that some rocks are 400 million years old. These theories sound convincing to some, but then observational science comes along and finds something like this. a spark plug inside of a rock. If the rock is 300 million years old, that means the spark plug is too, and that doesn't make sense. This is a fossilized miner's hat found in Australia. Again, if it takes millions of years to make a fossil, well, then that means this hat is millions of years old, and that doesn't make sense. This fossilized foot was found in Texas. Again, this is evidence that fossils do not have to be millions of years old. According to a scientist who believes in the theories of evolution, coal is supposed to be between 290 and 360 million years old. So, when we find a man-made iron pot inside of a coal deposit, that kind of blows their minds. This one is my favorite, and it's called the London Hammer. I want to read this to you. The London Hammer is a name given to a hammer made of iron and wood that was found in London, Texas in 1936. Part of the hammer is embedded in a limey rock concretion, leading it to being regarded as an anomalous artifact. And they're asking how a man-made tool was encased in 400 million year old rock. When a scientist has already decided that there is no God and he believes in the theories of evolution, when something like this comes along, it is completely astounding. And the theories are ludicrous. There's even one where people are saying a time traveler dropped his hammer, and that's how it became encased in 400 million year old rock. Observational science has a simple answer for this, and it's called concrete. The hammer was dropped in what later became a mixture of air, water, sand, and gravel. And that goes for the spark plug too. So if you encounter thoughts or people that believe that science and the Bible don't go together, the real question is, what is the scientist's worldview? Science is the way that we explore our world, but the facts and the evidence it provides is interpreted by the scientists, and that is influenced by their worldview. If you're looking for more information on these topics, visit the Answers in Genesis website. They have articles, updates, videos, and educational resources for all ages. To get started, go to answersingenesis.org.